Right, shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And I just want to go over the whole Brexit thing that's happening here in the UK and in the EU. And it's a beautiful thing. It's very beautiful and highly entertaining for me, even though the ramifications of this Brexit is dead serious. All right, because this Brexit thing is nothing more than a piece of the puzzle, which is going to make up the great chaos and death and destruction that's going to sweep across the face of this earth, man. Right now, the Lord is preparing the world for judgment. Right, and the pressure is building, and the Brexit is just one of these pressures, one of these cogs in the machine of judgment. All right, and we're watching our enemies fall, man. We're watching these Edomites destroy themselves. In their own craftiness, they shall be taken, man. All right, according to their own evil, according to their own pride and envy, jealousy. All right. These guys are falling apart, but everything is happening according to prophecy, and it's the will of the Most High. Right now, Britain, when you go into the scriptures, man, now Britain used to be a great country. I'm going to come back to Job 12. Britain used to be a great country, all right? But guess what? According to prophecy, Britain had to step aside, and America, which is nothing more than Rome, reincarnated, the whore that sitteth on the beast, America had to take its place as the head of the Edomite nations. All right, because these people are not Europeans, they're not so-called white people, they're Edomites, and they're hiding under these different names and corporations and nations. All right, they're Edomites, and the Lord set up that at one time Britain, the British contingency of these Edomites would have the supremacy. But the time would come when the supremacy would have to be given unto another, and at this moment in time, that is America. All right, and we're seeing that because Britain is basically being exposed that in their pride, they still think they're a great power, but they're not a great power. As the scriptures say, they have power only for 1 hour with the beast. And when the beast is taken and America is destroyed, it's going to be over for them. See, there's going to be some harsh realities coming down the pipeline, man. The pride of you devils all over the world is going to get checked. Now, let's get the scriptures on that, man. On these heads. All right, because there's different nations that rose up among these Edomites, man. All right. In fact, hold on. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to read up to get the point. All right, and we're seeing this unfold before our eyes, man, and it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, it's beautiful. I am thoroughly being entertained by what's going on with this Brexit situation, man. And I know where it's all going to end. Regardless of which way they twist and turn, it's all going to end in tears, man. All right? None of these, whether it's the EU as a whole or Britain or America, you are all done. You are all through. You're just going through the motions to your own destruction. The Lord is going to bring all of your nations down to the dust. Yeah? No matter which way you try and twist and turn in your own craftiness. Right? This is Revelation 17. And we're going to start from verse 8. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not. Right? And that's talking about Rome. And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. So Rome was going to rise again out of the bottomless pit, which represents Europe. All right. And go into perdition, meaning destruction. And that's America. America is nothing more but than the reincarnation of the Roman Empire. All right. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. And here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Now the woman represents America, that whore. Right? These 7 heads, these 7 mountains represent 7 great nations that rose among Esau over the years. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen and 1 is. Right? The 5 that were fallen, right, was like Germania Major, Gaul, which represents the Franks, all them different nations. And 1 is, the one that was at that time was Rome itself, the physical Rome, the old Rome. And the other is not yet come. So there was going to be a 7th head that was going to come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. That's when Esau rose up as the British. All right. They started to call themselves after the name of the British, because the original British were Israelites. They started calling themselves after the name of being British, and they had themselves a global empire. All right. And it continued for a short space of time. All right. And at that time, Britain was like untouchable. All right. They ruled the 7 seas. They said the sun didn't set upon the British Empire. And these devils are still proud to this very day, man. That's why I can't wait till Britain, beginning with England, is brought to the ground, man. These devils are brought low. Wicked, prideful devils, man. Right? And this Brexit shows their pride. And it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. So that's America reincarnating itself. Rome rising all over again. Incarnated in America. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. And is of the 7th. Because America came out of the British Empire. All right. The America came out of the British Empire. Originally, the landmass of America was conquered by the Spanish, which is one of them heads, the French, which is one of the 5 heads as well, and the English, which is one of the 7 heads. And it was the English contingency who managed to get the land from the French and get the land from the Spanish and win their so-called independence from the English to establish America as a so-called independent nation. So America ultimately came out of the British Empire, and guess what? After World War II, overtook after World War I, overtook Britain. Right, and became a superpower and became the new empire that came out of the old empire. And ever since then, Britain has basically been that's why Britain has been the closest nation to America. That's why they have something called the special relationship, because America came out of Britain, and Britain basically have been up underneath that nutsack ever since. Right? Pretending like they're the big dog when they're not the big dog. They're not equal with America. They're not big dogs. And that's all being exposed, because according to the scripture, Britain actually makes up one of the 10 horns of the beast that would receive power with the beast. They don't, they're just like any other Edomite nation. They're receiving power in the collective. On their own, they're weak. And that's being shown. There ain't no superpower. All right. It says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is of the 8th and is of the 7th, meaning of America, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. That's the 10 original nations that made up NATO and the EU, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So NATO and the EU, them European nations together, with America, because America is a part of NATO, and then the EU politically groups them European nations, politically and economically groups them EU nations together. NATO is the military branch, and America is the head over the military branch, and they rules over them the whole EU, because they're the most powerful. They're the ones that are basically protecting the EU from Russia, and together they're strong, but individually they're really weak. Germany, France, Britain, these guys are not that strong by themselves. Britain used to be strong. A lot of these nations used to be strong, but they're really not as strong as their pride would have them believe. And Britain is one of them. All right? Britain is nothing more than another horn among the 10. But they acting like they're Billy Big Bollocks, man. Right? And now they're being exposed. And they're going to continue to be exposed. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So they were going to work together as a collective. Right? But now Britain's trying to break from that collective. And you see all kind of madness going on. Because America ain't standing by Britain. America's trying to go behind Britain and do deals with the EU. And Britain's hurt because Britain figured that if anyone was going to have their back, it was going to be America because of this so-called special relationship. But there ain't no honor among thieves, man. All right. But anyway, I want to play this clip from Lord Heseltine, man. Right? And I can't play the video because I know BBC is going to hurt me for this. But I'm going to try and get the audio, and hopefully I don't get hit with a copyright. You know, because I know BBC, they're hardcore. All right? In fact, I'm not even going to play it, man. Brothers, go check this video out, man, because I know what the BBC is hardcore. In this video, basically, Lord Heseltine says it's the day in which Britain lost more power and influence than any other day of my peacetime. And the reason he's saying that is because he is seeing the reality that the power projection that Britain had in the world was through the EU. Okay? Through EU and their special relationship with America. It wasn't because Britain was so powerful by itself. All right, and that plays right into the hand of the scriptures, man. All right. And basically, he goes into the fact that they're doing this Brexit thing, that in the negotiations, Britain is the B side. See, a lot of these British, man, they thought they're gonna come out of the EU, and the EU will acquiesce to all their demands. All right. Like they're the old empire. Like they're going to bully the EU into whatever they want. And then they're going to go reestablish the Commonwealth and everything's going to be sweet. And they're going to sail off into the sunset. But these negotiations have shown how weak Britain is, because the EU's like, hell nah. You need us more than we need you. And it's causing all kind of confusion, man. And if they don't get a deal, and it goes to a no deal, Britain is gonna be completely fucked. But they fucked anyway. It's sliced, cause it's over. It shows that they're at an end. They had their time, and now they're basically, the sun is setting on them, and in due time they're gonna go into complete blackness. But they're still proud. They still think that they're somebody when their time is up. All right. And the same thing goes to America. The time's going to come where all these Edomite nations are going to be brought down to nothing, man. And we're in the time to see it all play out. Now, I wanted to show you this. Let me pause it. I don't want it to play, man. I know that if you watch this video, this guy, Jeremy Shapiro from the Council on Foreign Relations, he says it straight. He said that Britain used to be great power and great at diplomatics and all this stuff. But the truth of the matter is, Britain ain't a great power no more. And they've been a mediocre or medium level power for decades now. So he basically rubbing it in. Obviously he's an American. He's rubbing it in right here on the show in the face of the British that, look, you thought you overplayed your hand. You tried to play hardball like you're the old British Empire bullying Jamaica. Nah, you ain't that. It's over. And you know what, man? That's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. And I hope I know you Edomites are going to continue to infight and backstab and act treacherously and destroy each other. And that's a beautiful thing. And all your powers are going to be brought down, man. You damn devils. So check this video out. And I got some other videos, man, because I want to show you what's going on over here, man. These guys are through. Let me get these guys at the pub. Britain. All right. What was it? 50. Yeah. Let's play these dudes.
Right, the security, right? And you go in and there's all this paper lying around everywhere.
Because basically what these guys are talking about is the situation that's happening with the Brexit now is Britain tried to play hardball. The EU have red lines. Basically, the EU are not going to... What Britain want is basically they want to have their cake and eat it. They want to leave the EU but keep all the economic perks of being in the EU. All right? But the EU ain't having none of that. And they tried to play hardball with the EU. Now the EU is playing hardball with them. And it's getting to the point where Theresa May and these guys, it's all manner of confusion. And they've backed themselves into a corner where it's looking like they're not going to be able to negotiate any form of deal before the Brexit. Lord will if we don't even get there, but before the break, it looks like they ain't even gonna get a deal out of this thing, and that's the ultimate worst case scenario for Britain, because without a deal with the EU gonna get hurt, but Britain gonna be hurt even more, and that's a beautiful thing, man. And I pray, hey, to Yahweh Sham Yahweh Shai that be so, because I want to see this place start going into some real pain, man. Leading up to World War III and all that, man. They need to start going into some real pain, man. Wipe that proud look off some of these devils' faces, man. But that'll be a beautiful thing. So that's why I'm bringing it to your attention, man, because we got to look for all these things. So these guys, if you watch this video here, they go into a lot about the prospect of a no deal, which is looking the most probable action that's going to take place at this moment in time. The way the whole negotiations are going and the time frame that's left, it's looking like it's highly likely that it's going to be a no deal situation, that it's going to be Britain are going to crash out of the EU, which shows you it's over. Now they're still going to be in NATO, but they're not going to be in the EU no more. So man, this whole thing's falling apart. All right, and it's chaos, man, and that's what the Most High want. All right, let's play this.
In trucks, and it's just rotting on the floor, some of it, and it's cotton paper, right? And it turns out that it's made in Turkey. The paper for passports and banknotes comes from Turkey.
Because it's actually cotton, isn't it? It's
of course it is. It's a fabric.
Because Britain, man, they import so much, man. Basically, they're through. They're through, man. They're all the way through. All right. If they get kicked out of the EU, well, if they leave the EU without trade deals, they are through. All right.
When the tender went through for the passports, for our blue passports, the only reason that my theory, I think, stands up is that the French and the Dutch, was it the French and the Dutch won the contract?
Consortium, yeah.
The only reason they could go in cheaper was because the main paper that goes into the passports, if it's made from cotton, am I thinking right here or not?
Yeah.
comes from Turkey, which is in a sort of customs union, which means they won't pay tariffs and duties on the paper that comes in, where we would.
Turkey will actually have better trading relationships than the United Kingdom next year.
They will. And in fact, Turkey do a lot of trade east, or down to the Silk Road, down to China, through Central Asia.
As far as I'm concerned, when you going back to something Jason said, is this is a massive betrayal of our country. And if you're
Good, man. Good. Yeah, hey, man, I hope this thing goes to no deal. But it don't matter how it comes out now, because any deal Britain get, they're going to get fucked. Which, good. Bring the pain. But I really want there to be no deal. Yeah? Let's get this thing on and popping, man. Let's start more tribulations and woes coming down on these devils, man. All right?
true patriots, you're like, what the hell? If you look at the Victorian era that people seem to hark back to, this great time we were trading around the world, and blah blah blah. But then we were pragmatic.
These devils are like, a lot of these British are like, yeah, before we was in the EU, we was great. And look, man, you ain't going back to them dates. And I'm gonna get Job 12. I'm gonna finish this all off with Job 12. I just want to bring out some points, educate the brothers of what's going on over here in Britain, man. Britain's in a bad way right now. They are finished, man. America's going down. All these Edomite nations are going down, man. It's just all coming together, man. It's crazy what's going on. All right. But they keep harping on back to they really think they're going to go back to these glory days, man. This devil really don't want to see himself going down. Hard, too. Hard. I mean, down to the ground hard.
And there was a great quote by, I think, Lord Palmerston.
No, sorry. Back then, we used the British Army.
Yes, I know.
As our trade
That's pretty pragmatic.
You heard what he said? Back then, Britain was the bully on the block. So they used their army to get what they wanted. But they can't do that anymore. They don't have that kind of power. They can't bully the EU. Certain nations out there like India, China, they can't bully them. Not by themselves. These devils, America's the only superpower that by themselves can really go around and bully. And then there's another superpower on the block. And it's called Russia. Britain ain't no superpower. And even America's power is waning. And that's why these devils are going to face off, man. And Britain is getting embarrassed in front of the whole world, man. This Brexit thing is showing that Britain ain't shit. And I'm glad. Britain ain't as great as they thought they were. Bunch of clowns.
Jason, come on. When it comes to, we're just going to turn up and kill you if you don't give us stuff for free.
I will take it anyway.
That's how the devil operate, man. That's how these devils have been operating, and they still operating like that. So as long as this devil got the sword over you, man, this devil gonna take what he wants, man. The thief cometh not but to kill and to steal. But all that shit's gonna come to an end. No amount of stealing and killing